work. Okay, Gemedom. Lots of G names for champions today. First, Graves, and now Gragas. Okay, so I'm assuming he's playing AP Gragas, but I'm not sure. Looks like this is a lower level game. If we look at team comp, it's not really following the meta. So I'm gonna refrain from guessing lanes and stuff until we see what happens. So, yeah. I would guess that he's going mid with Gragas, and maybe Sona Sion is bottom, or Sion's top and Sona Maokai's bottom. I don't know. Hard to tell. All I know is that you definitely have a Tryndamere in the jungle. And they definitely have a Fiddlesticks in the jungle. So here's one thing I want to note. You see that they're invading, and their sign just said, "Oh man, if I knew we were going to invade, I would have gotten stunned." Okay, so that was silly. Don't ever like face check a bush way ahead of your team if you're invading. So much fighting. I'll go watch these guys. Oh man, Sona might live. Nope. Okay. So that was pretty bad. If Sion dies, everyone died but you. Okay, Sion flashed out. So, that was a mistake by Tryndamere. If you're ever invading with your team, you never, you want to go as one. So Tryndamere walked into this bush when his whole team was here, and so he pretty much instantly died before his team even got there. So Pantheon, he's going to do a lot of damage, but the one thing you want to note is that he started a Doran's Blade, which means he really has no sustain. So any harass you get on him is going to be really good for you. So yeah, keep landing those barrels and you're going to win the lane. The other thing is with Gragas, his W, right now it gives you 30 attack damage and reduces damage taken by 10%. It makes you very strong, so you're able to trade really well in lane. You can probably just trade melee attacks with Pantheon, no problem right now, because of your Drunken Rage. So the other thing with Gragas is you always want to keep that up. So it was down for 10 seconds there, which is fine because you didn't fight or anything, but always want to keep that up. So you could have killed him. You had your body slam up, and one auto attack plus an ignite definitely would have killed him. You might not have even needed the ignite. So you definitely could have killed him. I guess he had a shield, so it he probably would have blocked the auto attack. But body slam ignite would have killed him there. But it's also okay that you backed out because you have the potions to heal up, and he doesn't. So now he's at 200 HP, and you're back up at 400. So try not to let him recall, because that level 1 he got a kill on. So he's gonna have a lot of gold to spend since he got that kill. So you should have used the barrel to prevent him from recalling there. So I was going to say something about missing those last hits, but it looks like you did it to kill aggressive on that Fiddlesticks, and it picked you up a kill. So good job. Good job picking up that kill. Now you just need to go back. You have a blue buff that you really don't want to feed this Pantheon. And you're low health. So he's going to try to prevent you from recalling, because he just wants to waste time, which is what you should have done on him. Because anytime they want to recall, you should probably try to slow down and prevent them. And anytime you're laning, you always want to really watch what the other person has for items. So we see Pantheon came back to lane with double Dorans, still no potions or anything, so still no sustain. So keep harassing him and keep throwing those barrels, and that's the way you're going to win this lane. Good Mia call. He's going roaming. Sona is not paying attention though. We'll see if she can get out in time. She's going to get slowed by Triss, but okay. So right now, since Pantheon is roaming, you should be pushing really hard, and it looks like you are. So good job. If you can make that hit the turret, he's going to miss all this experience and gold. So while Fiddlesticks is getting this stuff, Pantheon is not. So, but he is picking up kills. I guess Tryndamere tried to gank, and it didn't end up well for them, but that's okay. So you don't have ulti or anything, so I wouldn't worry about going bottom. You don't really have that high of burst damage with Gragas if you don't have your ulti. So just definitely stay in lane. You could have pushed this to his turret again, but that's okay. I think he missed just as much since Fiddle was last hitting that wave. So he has 400 HP and no sustain right now. So you should be aggressive, and you really shouldn't be letting him, there you go, get some barrels on him. Don't let him farm. Now you have ulti, you can kill him with ulti, and if you ulti him into you and body slam, and then land a barrel, you might not even need the barrel, but yeah, any two spells will kill him right now. So you should be aggressive. You should be standing up here in a very aggressive position, forcing him back, so far back where he might miss creeps. You could kill this Fiddle too. Like, level 6 Gragas has pretty big bursts, so if you should wait and try to see if the Fiddle's gonna drain. Because if the Fiddle tries to drain a minion, you can barrel behind him to launch him into you and kill him. Roaming to gank isn't a bad idea. That's always an option. It looked like they didn't really need you. Like, that would have been a kill if you weren't there. So this gank where you roamed, it didn't help at all. Like, all that did is you just missed some XP in gold middle. So you could use ulti to launch him out here, and that would have been a kill, because you could have 4v1 swordsman. So you're being a little hesitant to ulti right now. So don't do that. Gragas ult is really good because of the displacement it provides, and it also does like really big damage. But in the early game, in the laning phase like this, if you can land it perfectly to launch people like into you or launch them out of position, it can be really strong. So we check how you're doing in last hits. You're only at 27, which is low. You're even with Pantheon, but Pantheon has 3 kills. And, it's like 9 minutes into the game. Sorry, I should close Mumble because the overlay is really annoying. It's 9 minutes into the game, and that number should be like 50 at least. You should have at least 50 CS. So it's just something to work on less hitting. And part of it came from roaming too much. Just push, take his turret right now. So if your lane is bottom, they're getting your turret. So try to trade turrets with them. Like, you could have gotten a lot of damage on this turret right now. Pantheon's pretty much been bottom for the last 4 minutes, and you haven't done any damage to the turret, which is you need to work on that. Like, recognize that if your lane partner leaves and goes roaming or whatever, if you're a strong pushing champion, which Gragas is, push hard. Sun is saying this game is so over. It's 10 minutes into the game. It's only 4-on-7. Game's definitely not over. I don't know why she's so whiny. So sometimes going 2 Dorans is really strong because it gets you a lot of health and decent magic regen. The magic regen is less important on Gragas because of your W, but that buyback, I think I would have gone Sorcerer's Shoes and Doran's Ring instead of rushing that Blasting Bomb. Should be a dead Fiddle if you can land a good ulti. Now he's slowed. Throw an ulti right here. There you go. Perfect. Tryndamere should get him, or you can get him. Nice. Good job. So that was a good play there. That was good to use your Q barrel first because it slows him, and it made it easy for you to set up the ulti. So that's a good use of your spells. You can try throwing your ulti first, but it's harder and more risky because it's harder to land it. So always keep your W up. If your W was up right there, you could have just fought that alley, maybe even killed him. It's hard to say. This is the part where Gragas is fun, when your barrel is like one-shot ranged minions and almost one-shot the melee minions. Makes lost hitting so easy. So Panthe's like going crazy trying to dive this Tryndamere. You guys might be able to kill him. He's really fed right now, so he's really strong, but you guys might be able to do something. I think he's probably in this bush right now. Yeah, I think, okay, he left, so I don't know where he juked you. That was pretty tricky, but got a tricky Pantheon. So life is easy with Gragas. One thing that's nice about Gragas that I noticed last night is if you throw your barrel and wait for it to blow up, by the time it blows up naturally, its cooldown is like already reset. So bam, you have another barrel. So if you if like they're dumb and you leave a barrel sitting and they walk into it and explode, you can get 2 barrels right in a row on them. And it's also really effective to just like insta clear lanes, because you're missing some CS from that first barrel popping, because it pops on the melee minions, and then your other minions, kill it and pick up the last hits. And so if you just throw your barrel into the creeps and wait, and then just wait for it to blow up naturally, then you can throw a second barrel immediately and pick up the melee minion last hits as well. So Triss is really overextended. You could go bottom and try to gank this right now. And you see that Pantheon's top? Just push right now. You're going to be too late to get here. Actually, never mind, because they're chasing down bottom, which is kind of silly, but... There you go. Good AoE damage there. So, good job. Good job reacting. I didn't think they would chase down, is the reason why I said you should push, but it was a really good reaction for you to get there. Anytime your lane leaves, you have 2 options. You can follow, or you can push. And as long as you do one of those 2, it's a decent play. The worst thing you can do is like just sit here and last hit while your lane partner's roaming and doing things. This is a good play to get up there and pick up that double kill. Oh, okay. Dog is trying to crawl on my lap. Get down. Okay, sorry. So, this Tryndamere is very nice to you because he keeps getting you blue buffs, which is awesome. And Pantheon is still roaming. So you should really be getting Sork shoes. Yeah, I knew you'd do that. I knew it. But Sork shoes are really good on AP carries. Like the 20 magic pen is huge. Like these guys are pretty tanky. But like, look at this fiddlesticks. If you had 20 magic pen, you would have 29 spell pen on the 30 magic resist fiddle. You would be doing true damage, practically true damage to fiddlesticks if you got Sork shoes. Which, I mean, it's hard to say, like, the 80 AP... 80 AP definitely gave you more damage than the 20 magic pen, but it's also a 1600 item instead of a 750, so... But, I mean, the move speed from Boots 2 isn't valuable, you know, so... Alright, good double barrel on that Trisk. You probably only needed 1, but... Good kill. You helped out the Tryndamere. Way to get out of that Fiddlesticks ulti. That was good use of your body slam to move. Kind of a waste of exhaust by Pantheon there. But Sona did have to ult to save her, so that was... may not have been a horrible use of it. So, you're doing a really good job of like using your barrels to the last hit and stuff. That up. If we look at farm, you're at 77 at 17 minutes in the game. That's still really low. So that's a big thing that you need to work on improving, is just getting that CS up there. You should have hit this number at 80 around 10. Like at 10 minutes, it would be really good to be at 80. If you were at about 11 or 12 minutes, that's pretty good. But at 17 minutes, that's low. You can definitely work on that. So the big thing with Gragas play is keep your W up and use your ult really effectively. If you can initiate teamfights well with your ultimate, it's very easy to win teamfights with Gragas. Well, you're probably going to finish your death cap instead of getting boots 2 again. Just to spite me. I knew it. Knew it. That's actually okay. Boots 2 aren't that important to you. You're not moving around a lot. You're kind of staying between here and here, so... You haven't been in a situation where you needed boots 2, so it's okay. Oh, I don't know what the Scion's doing. He's going crazy. That was quite the dive, but you guys are also diving bottom, so you have a lot of diving pressure in a lot of different lanes. So one thing to note in team comps, you guys probably need to win this early. Nasus is a very strong late game champion, and so is Tristana. Both of those champions are very strong late game. And so the longer this game goes on, probably the more likely they are going to be to win. I mean, they do have like Pantheon, who falls off late game. But like Tryndamere is really strong late game, and the rest of you guys do okay late game. They're not like Nasus level late game, but they're not bad. Alright, are you finally going to get the boots 2 for me? And it's not bad that you haven't been getting boots 2, because you've had enough money to where you're getting really strong items instead, like Needle Sealer Draw or finishing your death cap, and that's fine. But right now, those boots 2 are going to be a lot more important than like a Blasting Wand, so if you don't get boots 2 here, I actually will be sad. That's okay. Oh, this Tryndamere's going crazy. That guy doing big bursts on the Alistar, but all 4 are top, because Triss is bottom. So Scion needs to get bottom to stop this Tristana. And you guys are coming into this fight really late, so God knows. So you're coming into that 4v3 already. It's good to pick. You're doing really well and picking up some really nice kills, but it was definitely dangerous to go in on that. So nice body slam to get in position for the barrel. Very nice. That was very well executed. That was definitely a good Gragas shot. So far, I mean, the big thing with your Gragas play is just last hit better. Your last hits were pretty low. But other than that, you're playing very well. You're landing a lot of barrels. Your ults are good. You're keeping your W up. I don't have a lot to say about your Gragas play. It's looking really solid. Let me check where you submitted it and see if there was anything specific you wanted me to talk about.
An ally has been slain.
Okay, so you say mostly knowing when I can make trades with Pantheon or when I should take the damage and get last hits. And I mentioned this in lane. Pantheon had no sustain for like the first 10 minutes of the lane. And because of that, you should definitely be willing to trade with him, especially because your W makes your auto attacks hit really hard. And so you played very afraid of him, and he came to lane like with like low HP and no sustain, and you shouldn't have been afraid of him at all. He's just getting CC locked here. Okay, so you missed your ulti there on these two, and the ignite didn't matter. So kind of a wasted ulti, but that's okay. You had to try to save him, so I mean that's not a bad ulti or anything. It would be nice to have it for this fight, but that's okay. As long as you guys just hold the turret.
An enemy has been slain.
Sona's still mad about the level 1 invade, but it's okay. You guys are in a pretty good spot. The only thing that's worrisome is that Tristana and Nasus are both very farmed, and they're the two people you have to worry about late game. So it's definitely like slightly concerning that they're very farmed. You're pretty farmed too, and with 6 kills, you're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. You might get to the point where you can 2-shot Tristana pretty soon anyway, so Tristana might not even really be that big of a deal if you have strong focus with her. I'm gonna reply to the guy whose replay is next, letting him know. So, as far as building, at this point, what you can make that blasting on, you have a lot of options with it. A Void Staff is good if they have a lot of magic resist. Good ulti. So one option when a Fiddlestick's ulti when you're playing Gragas is you can use your ulti to get him away from your team. But I liked your choice, and you just used your ulti to kill him. You launched him into your team, but it didn't matter because you just killed him. So that also works. Yeah, that was fine. But you could build that into a lot of things. In general, for any AP, like you generally rush a death cap, and then you build stuff that builds from a blasting one. They don't really have much magic resist. Like Pantheon has a Negatron, but that's it. So you probably don't need to get a Void Staff right now. A Death Cap might not be a bad idea because Nasus does a lot of physical damage. Sorry, did I say Death Cap? Zhonya's Hourglass would be a pretty good idea. They're mostly a physical damage team. Pretty much everyone but Fiddlesticks. So it's definitely something to consider going with Zhonya's at this point in time. I think that would be your best bet for a second item. We'll see what you end up building though. I don't think I've ever seen a Lich Bane on Gragas, but it's probably not worth it since you're not really in melee range very often. Priest Pants, no! You're gonna go to class. That's okay. Have fun. Is it a math class? Oh, cool. Thanks, Priest Pants. Alright, so I don't have a whole lot to say about this game going on right now. Like, you're 8-0-4, you're playing very well. Your team's doing well. Your team needs to push. Like, I feel like your team's stronger right now, and your team needs to push it. Okay, so you ended up buying Void Staff, which I don't think you needed. I kind of talked about how they don't really have any magic resist. Like, Ali has Unknown Magic, and Pantheon has a Negatron, and that's it. That's all the MR they have. So you could have delayed that Void Staff. Instead of the Void Staff, you could have gotten the Zhonya's, which I think would have been a much better item right here. So, okay, good ulti. It didn't send the Trist anywhere. If you placed it a little bit behind, you probably would have just launched them into your team, which also would have been good. But very good gank. They probably didn't expect that ulti, so good job. Yeah, you also you could have just bought your Will of the Ancients instead of Void Staff, which is fine. I don't know if Woda's probably not that great on Gragas, but it's really good since you have both Sion and Maokai on your team, and both of these champions do a lot of magic damage with a lot of and really like AP, so that's a pretty solid buy for your team. Double Woda, like having right now, like it's really strong in the current meta to have your AP mid and also have like a tanky AP top, and have them both get Will of the Ancients. And the thing with aura items is they kind of stack. So they'll stack for like so Gragas has Will of the Ancients, and if Sion also got Will of the Ancients, then it would stack for Sion and Gragas, but it wouldn't stack for anyone else. Everyone else would only get one buff. But the part that affects you yourself is different than the part that affects your team. So
Double kill.
no, Gragas. Alright, so your ulti was up. I feel like you probably could have used your ulti to get away from that. Either ulting the Panth away earlier, or ulting the Gragas away once you saw him here. Or not the Gragas, the Alistar. I think you might have been able to survive with better use of your ulti there, but that's okay. But yeah, double Will of the Ancients is really strong right now, because for the cost, which is like what, 2,600 or something? No, 2,100. It's even cheaper. It's really effective, because if two people get Woda, then effectively for 21 gold, you end up with 110 ability power and 50% spell vamp, which is really, really strong. So that's why double Woda is kind of ridiculous right now. Like the aura part of Woda is really strong compared to most of the other aura items in the game. So. Maokai is criticizing Trinimir's build. Just fine. Like I edge fan. The answer is really all the offense Trinimir needs. He doesn't need much else. So. And like I said earlier, their whole team except for Fiddle is physical damage. So, I mean, Nasus does a decent amount of magic damage. Okay, so now Nasus has stacked 2 Negatron, so it's a good thing you have the Void Staff now. So, and that's the thing, like that's why it's not bad to buy a Void Staff early, even if they don't have any MR, because it makes any MR they buy in the future less effective. So that ulti, it looked like you only had 2 people and kind of got the Fiddle out when you didn't really need to. So that wasn't the best ulti, especially since Fiddle's out of mana. Like he's not really a threat, but that's okay because your team is still like doing really well. So it's still really good team fight for your team. Triss is pushing. In this situation, you should just ignore the Triss and win the game because they can't defend with just Fiddlesticks. I guess Nasus is up too, but still, I feel like. You guys are easily going to win this base rush, and you could probably just win the game right here. Yeah, you guys are... this is a bad idea, this base rush for their team. Yeah, and if you guys just hit the Nexus, you'd win the game right now. But you guys are running away. I don't know why. Okay, there you go. Now hit the Nexus. No, hit the Nexus! Hit the Nexus! That's okay. So you guys could have won the game right there if you just all-in on the Nexus. They wouldn't kill you fast enough to kill it. I mean, you personally never even hit the Nexus, and it got down to almost half health, so... That's okay, though. Yeah, at this point you could go for maybe. It looks like maybe you're going for a GA since you bought the chain vest first. But a Zonia's would be a really good idea still. I love Zonia's in general. I think it's a really strong item that a lot of people overlook. Just in general, Zonia's is really good. So I'm kind of biased because it's one of my favorite AP items. Way back when, the Rabadon's Death Cap and the Zonia's Hourglass were the same item. It was one item called Zonia's Ring, and it gave you the percentage bonus AP that Deathcap does, and it also gave you the Hourglass active. Riot thought it was just, I guess they thought it was overpowered because it was such a strong item that, well, and it wasn't just that, it was also that, it was way too strong on certain champions, like Kennen and Morgana. Like, any champion where Hourglass is amazing on, and so is Deathcap, like, it was really way too strong on those kind of champions. And then you also had it where the bonus AP percentage was so good that you'd really want it on just pure AP nukers, like maybe like an Annie or like Brand or something, but you didn't really care that much for the Zonia's active, so you'd still get it even though you didn't really want the active. So that's why they split it. Fun LOL fact of the day. You guys are gonna win this game, it looks like, shortly. There's not much time left in the replay, so it's probably gonna be like one more team fight and you guys win, but you played a very strong Gragas game. You're definitely a good Gragas player. The things to work on, just work on your last hitting. Like, really, really work on your last hitting. It's gonna hold you back as a player, like, if you start playing ranked games and stuff. Alright. So as soon as I start complimenting your Gragas play, you miss an ulti, but that's okay. It was the first one you missed, so I'll let it slide. Your team is still playing really well, so you guys are going to do fine. Alright, so that's definitely a game. But like I was saying, you played your strong Gragas. Some of the things to work on in your lane is, like, don't be afraid to trade with a Pantheon or someone you're laning against with no sustain. Like, not only did you have potions, but Gragas' passive gives him really strong sustain. And, so, it's, you definitely don't want to be afraid to trade when you have higher sustain than your opponent. So, like, Pantheon came to lane with no potions, and you should abuse that and try to trade with him some. The other thing is that if you're playing in a lane and your lane partner leaves, don't be afraid to... you need to decide, like, as soon as you notice they're gone, you need to either follow them or you need to push, and you need to decide it quickly. You can't sit there and, like, last hit and wait. So definitely just make sure that you're making those decisions. You made a really good call when you left mid lane to go help your team and picked up a double kill when you went north in the river. But there are a few other times when Pantheon kept roaming bottom and you could have put in a lot of pressure on his turret and you didn't. So just keep that in mind. But it was a good game. So nice work. I'm going to end the recording.